The following piece, I believe, is worth repeating. You see, in this life, we live and we learn, we gain experience and we gain knowledge. And that knowledge must not remain in our heads, stuck in solitary confinement. We must pass it on. Pass it on. I have lived long enough to understand that tomorrow is not promised to anyone, and the joys of the day can swiftly turn to sorrow. Sorrow that can rush in sometimes as an unwelcome surprise. I have lived long enough to know that the dog that deserves the bone does not always get it in this life. And the weak and defenseless often fall victim to those who sit on the high seat called power. I have lived long enough to observe people establish great friendships. Friendships based on selfishness that only promote their cause or the goals that they have. But the friendships cool when the individuals they befriended no longer advance their egoistic cause. Man is often a great manipulator and often acts in his own interests, otherwise called selfishness. In this life, you will meet exploiters, schemers, spin doctors, and crooks. Watch out for them. Think even before you answer your phone. And they have the technological tools to make it easier for them. Pray, yes, pray for the spirit of discernment. Well, of course, those who believe in our Creator. So we will know who is who. I have lived long enough to understand, to realize that material gain is a blessing, oh, a wonderful blessing, but only for that short span. We have to enjoy it, for eventually we will all leave this earth with empty hands. How often have you seen a U-Haul truck following a funeral, bearing one's earthly possessions? I have lived long enough to observe people obtain wealth and rise to prominence. Then they turn their backs on those they knew before their wealth and fame, those who actually helped them, who pushed them up the ladder of success. But when misfortune knocks them to the ground, and it can happen, they cling once more to those they had left behind. Never, I repeat, never forget where you came from. And remember, a stroke or other sickness, serious sickness, can change your life. And those who trusted or helped might suddenly hide it from you. Some will not even answer your telephone call. Remember, money attracts friends, but an empty pocket can drive them away. That's so-called friends, eh? And many will stick close to you when there is material gain. And when you become sick, helpless, or broke, when you cry out, desperately cry out for help, sometimes a stranger might step in I have lived long enough to see the wrath called retribution descend like big stones on the heads of those who embrace evil. Then people remark that they are victims of blight or someone do them. But it is just their wicked deeds catching up with them. It is a truism. What you sow in this life, you will reap. And if you plant yam, do not expect to reap bananas. You didn't plant bananas. I have lived long enough to witness people cry crocodile tears. They cry crocodile tears for relatives the good Lord called. The same relatives they treated so badly while they were alive, but they express sorrow when the dead no longer hear, feel, or know that they are present. I have lived long enough to know that faith in God is essential. For without faith, one cannot face the future with confidence. And faith must be married to works to achieve our goals, for we have to work also. I have lived long enough to realize that we must appreciate the goodwill of family and friends. For ingratitude can be likened to a scorpion sting. We must appreciate the person who can only offer us an encouraging word or a smile. And I have been pleasantly warmed by the compassion that flows from loving hearts. Yes, my friends, there are good people on this earth. I have lived long enough to know that it is better, much better to count our blessings than to dwell on the sorrows that we face. And more I see the folly of worrying, stressing ourselves out. For worrying is likened to sitting on a rocking chair. We rock, but we are not going anywhere. So instead of worrying today, we should just breathe a word of prayer and exercise faith. I have lived long enough to value every day I open my eyes, especially after surviving that terrible virus. When a sneeze that once caused someone to utter, "Bless you," after they heard someone sneeze. But then it sent people ducking for cover. I have lived long enough to understand that it is impossible to please everyone. And there will be people who will not like you. Keep on smiling. Do good. And please, do not stop doing good. I have lived long enough to realize that we must connect to nature, for we are part of it all. One of the reasons I go to the park and walk among the trees, we must pause to smell a rose, observe the mountain greenery, and be soothed by the captivating beauty of a sunset, bowing in the horizon far. And the most important, we must take time to thank our Creator for sparing our lives. For none of us holds the key to unlock tomorrow. God bless Anthony Wendell, lyrics.